Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Belinda and I'm here to educate you on matters regarding building. I know so many people want to start their dream homes. So many people want to build their houses. Somebody somewhere wants to own a house, but they do not know where they can start from. Well, in this channel, I shall be explaining each and everything that you need before deciding to build your house. Well, a year ago, I was also in the same shoes. I wanted to build my dream house, but I never knew where to start. But one of those fine days, I decided to pay a visit at the village, and there are so many things I learned from that experience. Well, what I can tell that person who wants to start building, do not wait to have all that money. Do not save to build, because matters will always arise. Emergencies will always arise. So at the end of the day, you may find that this money that you had saved might be used for other purposes other than the purpose that you had intended it to be used for. So what I can tell that person that wants to build today, why don't you start with the little that you have? For example, if you want to build a 3-bedroom house, of course you cannot have all that money for the stones, most especially if you are only employed. It becomes difficult to cut through the budget and also to cater for the other budget. So you start with the little that you have. If you get 10,000 shillings, go get some stones. The only thing that I can advise you, and this is one thing that you cannot avoid, is you have to have a good storage. Because with a good storage, you will be able to store the little products that you will be buying, and then that will help you. That will also help in avoiding the things that you've bought to go bad. So don't wait to have all that money. Don't wait to have $1 million to start your dream house, because that money will never get to that point. Before you get to that point, you will realize that you've spent the money on other purposes. So in today's video, I'll be explaining the few things that I considered before building my dream house. So here you are. This thing has been running in your mind, and now you've decided that you want to start your dream house. So here are some few things that I did from my experience, which I know that maybe if you follow them, since I'm talking from my experience and it worked, it might also work for you. I'm not saying that it will work for you, but this is what worked for me. So the first thing that you need to consider when building your dream house is a professional team. Do not go around looking for quack people. Quack people will give you a shady job. And a shady job means that you will have to redo it. And redoing it means that you will have to spend more money than the intended money that was to be spent on that project. So ensure that you have a professional team. Ensure that you have an architect. This one will help you with the design of your house. Or I want to build a 3-bedroom house. The architect will be able to go make sure that you understand how this house is. This one will give you the design. You will come up with a picture, but the architect will help you with the design. So make sure that you have a professional team by your side. Then also you may need an engineer, a structural engineer. A structural engineer will help you with the quantities. For example, if you are building a 3-bedroom house, remember when you are building houses, we also have things that have to be measured. So this one will give you the exact quantity of things that are needed. You need this amount of stones, you need this amount of, let's say, sand. So this one will give you the exact measurement, because remember, we are building this house on a budget and you do not want to inquire losses. Then the next thing that I might advise this person that wants to build is to consider the size of the land. Consider the size of the land. Yes, you may have a dream. One day I want to own a 3-bedroom house. But what is the size of the land? Will this house fit in the land that you have? Or let's say, for example, at times you might have the land, but your resources may limit you. So before you build this house, go check the piece of land that you have and see if that piece of land will be able to accommodate the house that you want, because you do not want to start getting into fights because you extended your house into another person's house, and maybe it leads to court wars, and at the end of the day maybe you are ordered to bring down the house. So you want to consider the size of the land that you are building your house in. Then before you think of building your house, look at the size of the your family. For example, a person who has a large family might require to have a bigger house as compared to a person who has a smaller family. Or maybe there's that person who just there's that person who might not even consider the size of the family. Maybe this person just has money. But one thing, a majority of people build houses according to the sizes of their family. For example, when you are allocating rooms, you may say, this room will belong to my younger child, this one will belong to the girls, this one will belong to the boys, and maybe this one will be the guest house. So when you are building your house, ensure that you consider the size of your family. Then also go with your needs and preferences. Do not build a house because you saw another person building a house. You saw someone building a house and now you want that house. Imagine going to build a house. Maybe that person used, let's say, stones. So you want the exact house, but you do not have the capability. So you have to go with your needs and preferences. Or maybe that person just prefers the matofali, the bricks, but maybe you prefer stones. And then there are those people who consider things like balcons. Maybe I don't want my house to have a balcony. Maybe I consider privacy. There's that person who wants an open kitchen, and then on the other hand, we also have people who prefer closed kitchens. So when you are building, build according to your needs and preferences. If I have this house, if I have a closed kitchen, I'll be comfortable with this. If I have an open kitchen, then I'll also be comfortable with this. So as you are building, ensure that you go by your needs and preferences. Are we together? Let's say, for example, things like windows. There are people who prefer wider windows. There are people who prefer shallow windows because maybe of the lighting and everything. There are people who prefer few doors. So as you are building, go by your needs and preferences. Imagine you do not want to build a house because you copied somebody else, but as you are inside there, you are not comfortable because your needs and preferences were different. Then also, as you are building, when you are talking about the cost of foundation, so the cost of foundation will depend on the place that you are. For example, if the place is cotton slope, the amount of money that you are going to use on foundation will be higher. So don't go to somebody's house and then maybe they tell you, this is the cost of foundation that I incurred in my house. Yes, you too might be building the same type of house. Maybe it might be a 3-bedroom, but you may find that the place is cotton slopey. So in this case, you find that the amount of money that was used in foundation might be higher. But if the place is low, then in this case, the cost become low. So as you are building, look at the area that you are in. The area that you are in will tell you the amount of cost that you are going to incur when doing your foundation. Then also, I want to talk about the fundis. Remember, as you are building, we have the fundis because, of course, you cannot do it by yourself. So how do you save when it comes to the fundis? So when it comes to the fundis, ensure that you give them specific days. For example, if you have the material there, everything is there. You may tell the fundis, I want you to come for a week. And for a week, I want by this time, this work should be completed. Don't go by, let's say, for example, you want, one thing I'll advise, get the materials first. Once you've gotten the materials, now call the fundis, because you don't want to be cutting down short your work, because this will, in the end, will make you incur most cost. But if you decide, I want the fundis to come here for 3 days, For 3 days, I want you to get to this point. The fundis will go by you will talk to them and tell them, is it possible? When they tell you it's possible, then go by that. But if you want to, you are that type of person who wants things to go slow, then things might not go well for you. Then also when you're talking about the fundis, you can also save the cost by ensuring that you cook for the fundis. Some people are always like, oh, cooking for the fundis is much time wastage. But what they don't know that is that if you cook for the fundis, you save time. Because as their fundis are building, for example, if you have fixed days, by the time they are done, they are eating, they are having their lunch, they are having their breakfast. The other thing is on sourcing for materials. Sourcing for materials. So when you are sourcing for materials, now you've come up with a plan, now you are ready, you want to build. So as you're sourcing for materials, pay for the materials after delivery. What do I mean? You've gotten a site, you've loved the bricks, maybe you want to order for bricks, you talk to the person tells you, oh, the bricks are available. So here is what I'll tell you. Sometimes you might talk to the person, maybe you wanted grade 1 material bricks. So you've talked well, you've made an order, but in the process they change and maybe put grade 2 bricks. You know these terms, once paid cannot be returned. So here is what you are supposed to do. Don't pay for those materials. So wait for the materials to get to the site once you've assessed them and ensured that these are the grade 1 materials that I ordered. For after that, now you can pay. Or at times you've paid for the materials. Once you've paid for the materials arrive, and when they arrive, maybe you ordered for 300 bricks, and maybe the bricks that have arrived are less, maybe 270. At times it's difficult to make a complaint, because most people will be like, no, the amount of stones that we gave out were 300. Or maybe in the process of transporting, you might find that some stones are maybe damaged. So the best way to go about this is to pay once the materials are there, once you've assessed them and ensured that this was the number or this was the type of material that I wanted. Then also when you're talking about land, here you are, as we are talking, there are people who also want to own, who do not have this piece of land. So before you go get your land, make sure that you do your due diligence. Imagine nothing is as humiliating like here you are, you've already paid for the land, you've built your dream house, then suddenly you're being told that you are on somebody's land, or you are being evacuated, or maybe where you build is an economical place. You may find that it's a place that is meant for development, or for example, before you know it, a factory is being built there. Before you know it, there's an industrial thing going on there. So as you are building, make sure that you do your due diligence. You can talk to the neighbors, talk to the people around. Get people who are professionals. Don't get quacks. Quacks will give you any type of land. So get a professional that you can pay to get you a piece of land that you will not have any problems with in the near future. So construction requires a lot of discipline. You have to be disciplined with your money. That money that you used to use to go maybe for some fun will have to be allocated there, because it's difficult to have fun at times and also build. It requires a lot of discipline. So if you're building on a budget like me right now, I'm not even done building. I'm still in the process of building my house, and I believe that before next year ends, I'll be done with that. And that is why I wanted you to join me in this journey, because I'm sure that from this journey you're going to learn 1 or 2 things, and maybe these things can help you do the implementation. So I'm hoping that you guys are going to stick here, because in my next video I'm going to break down the cost of foundation, everything that I incurred, what you need before you start your foundation, things that you need to consider. So please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. You can also share if you do have the time, please. You can share so that this video can reach as many people as possible, because here we are here to learn and grow from each other. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to watch my next video. Thank you.